confession, I never really finish my dumb little games. I overcomplicate things, I refactor endlessly, I spin my wheels, and often I drop them after I finish building whatever mechanic I think is interesting. Maybe you're like me. And that's why you should do a game jam. You can spend a couple days, get something done, quick, dirty, and release it to the world. I'm kind of bad at making sprites and models and other visual art, and maybe you can find someone else to work with who is good at that stuff but might need help with programming or writing or whatever you're good at. But what if you don't want to deal with art assets at all? What if there was a game jam that actually forbid you from making your own assets completely so that you can focus on game design and programming? Something perhaps like the upcoming Kenney Jam.
Delightfully devilish, Seymour.
Not only do you not need to make your own art for this, you're actually just not allowed to. You can use any asset packs from Kenney or K-Kits, who are the asset creators that I use most frequently for my videos, and you can mix and match, and they've got enough consistent, good quality stuff to pull off a small game. No problem. There are some rules and there are some challenges and one weekend to release a very, 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 very small game. Interlude. The word game jam is a combination or portmanteau, if you will, of the words game and jam. The word game coming from game, and the word jam not referring to the sticky fruit spread you put on toast, and it doesn't refer to basketball slam dunks, but rather the act of musicians, originally jazz musicians, getting together to play and usually improvise music. And I think it's this creative improvisation that's the most important part. You don't have time to plan and orchestrate a huge game. You've got to think on your feet and make something small, reasonable, but dynamic. If you haven't done a game jam, I think you should just do it. Especially, I think that if you haven't made a micro game before, just learning about scope and possibly failing and making something dysfunctional can be a really good experience. And it's just a couple days. It's also a great way to get involved in the community and find opportunities to work. When I did my first game jam 7 or 8 years ago, I met a guy who hired me to do my first paid indie game development work for about a year. It's great. It gets you out there. Kenney, Kenney.nl, I think he's Dutch, has been running this game jam for almost a decade and probably will into the future. So if you see this video too late or don't have time to participate on July 17th and the subsequent weekend, you probably will have another chance in some months. And also there's always tons of game jams happening on itch.io, so you can just check them out, sign up for something, do something small, finish a tiny game. It's so good for you. So here's why I get excited about game jams. For one, you can put aside your current project and work on something fresh, brand new. It can really get the creative juices flowing. 2, you can work on something new that has a really specific time box. You won't get sucked into one problem for weeks, as we sometimes do in our own longer form games. You just have a couple days and you'll often be like, hey, no, it's too much work to do this feature. We'll do something else. 3, you don't have to make something commercially viable or even particularly fun to play. You can just take a single mechanic that you want to experiment with and take it as far as you possibly can. 4, the expectations for polish are actually really low. Just make something playable and interesting. 5, the expectations for play length are also really low. Is the game fun for 5 minutes? That's incredible. You don't need to design a 40-hour experience. 6, you're literally not allowed to obsess over making new assets in this game jam, at least. Just work with what you can find. It's almost like getting a new box of Lego as a kid. You may not have every piece, but your imagination will still run wild, and these constraints can be extremely productive. It's hard to scroll through Kenney's asset catalog or Kay Lausberg's asset catalog and not just get a ton of cool ideas for tiny games you can make that might be fun. 7, if your tiny game has a tiny bit of fun in it, well, you can take it after and polish it up and release it as something a little bit bigger. This is a great way to prototype features. 8, and if it isn't good enough to polish and release, you probably learned something and it was only a couple days of work. Not sure if you're good enough yet? do it anyways. Try on your own or find a team of other newbies or people who are willing to take on a newbie and make something. You'll learn so much. You can work alone or in teams. I'm probably going to solo this one because it's my weekend and I'd rather not spend it talking to people and trying to build alignment on design ideas. I get enough of that in my day job. I don't mind being the only programmer on a project because I work fast and I'm pretty opinionated. I can be flexible with jam code, of course. Doesn't have to be perfect. I would consider maybe working with a designer if they pitched me a killer idea, so hoveringskull@gmail.com, but I'll probably do this alone. I've been getting together ideas already, but it's best not to get too detailed too early. The theme will be released at the start of the jam, and you'll have to find a way to incorporate the theme as a major element in your design. Past themes for the Kenney Jam have included power, connection, and exploration. Note also that winners are declared by judges, not a popular vote, so conventionally attractive celebrity content creators don't have this huge advantage. One little gotcha here in these rules is that you have to avoid using outside visual assets, including stuff that comes with your game engine. So if you want a cube, you're going to have to find something in Kenney or K-Kits that works as a cube for you, and you can rescale and stretch and do whatever you want to it, and you even write your own shaders and materials, but any textures and models need to come from these packs. So it might get a bit weird. Also, no AI trash. It's not a flex if you can tell a computer to make a shitty little game for you. The whole purpose is the process and the joy of that process to make a shitty little game. There's some interesting extra challenges that you can try to do too. I have also thought of trying to do all of the extra challenges at once, but I think that would be really hard. Here they are. Single pack. Your game should only use a single asset pack. So I like this one a lot, and it's an even tighter restriction. This does feel like getting a Lego set as a kid and rebuilding it in your own imagination. So look at a pack like this one. What can we do with it? Well, much. No text. Create a game that doesn't use any text at all. This is going to be very hard unless you are designing a very simple, intuitive game, or I guess a very conventional game, since you need to teach players what to do somehow pretty quickly and efficiently because they won't play them for very long. I think you can get away with using stuff like these input prompts from Kenney to explain button presses. Maybe. Mouse only. Your game should be fully controlled by mouse. Now, for the kinds of games I like to make, which are menus and grids, this is actually pretty easy. I would never release a game without hotkeys, but I can sure prototype without them. Co-op. Your game should feature co-op gameplay. I don't recommend getting into networked play for something this time constrained unless you are some sort of brain genius or you've done it 100 times before, but I do think that you could do something interesting with couch co-op here. If you grew up when I did in the late 80s, early 90s, you might also remember games that controlled with a split keyboard, one player using WASD and the other using the arrow keys or something like that, and those were really cool. You could, of course, support multiple controllers too, or create a turn-based hot seat situation. That sounds fun. Symmetry. Your game should feature heavily symmetrical elements in visuals or mechanics or both. This is like a really abstract sort of prompt, so I don't know where I'd go with it. My mind goes to those really weird like psychedelic Dreamcast games. I remember there being some really interesting 3D breakout games that had an interesting symmetry. I don't know where I'd go with this, but think about it. Cross-dimensional. Use 2D sprites in a 3D world. This one's really exciting to me because the packs have a really great variety of both 3D and 2D assets, and I haven't done too much with this. So you can make something with visuals like Octopath Traveler or Paper Mario, or even like a boomer shooter like Doom usually uses 2D sprites that are billboarded as 3D entities. So that's pretty fun, and it's a pretty hot look right now, so do it. The theme drops on Friday, July 17th at 11 a.m. my time. That's like Eastern Canada time, Eastern US time too, I guess. and I will be taking the weekend to do it. I will also be documenting the process so that future generations can learn from my grotesque folly. I have considered doing this on a live stream, but I don't really know if there's enough people who want to watch that. And also you'd hear all the weird burps and grunts that I cut out from all of my other videos, and you don't want to hear that. Unless you do, yeah, you sickos. What I do know is that I will be using Godot for this, and if you're using Godot, I've got a ton of cool resources on the channel, this channel that you're on right now, Hovering Skull. Check them out and learn more. What about you? Are you making a game for Kenney Jam or another future game jam? Are you in? Let me know in the comments if you're gonna jam, and I'll see you at the jam. Yeah. Before you go, check out some of these other fine pieces of content, and you can subscribe, and you can learn more about indie game stuff and Godot and programming on my channel, which you should subscribe to, I guess. Okay, bye. See you. See you at the jam. Blah.